I'd like to start this guide by reinforcing that this is not at all meant to be comprehensive, and a lot of the sequences can probably be optimized for damage. The goal here is to give you an idea of what Cyrax can bring to Mileena's already good tool set. Things like setups that lead to full combo or plus on block situations, jailing sequences riddled with chip damage and meter build, a back throw combo when cornered, and a touch of full screen presence. We'll get more into detailed explanations of each, but first let's cover the basics. Cyrax brings no health increase or decrease and a forward throw that does 100 damage, less than the standard 110. The trade-off is that you can spend resources to launch for a full combo. The trade-off to that is that it costs 2 bars a meter. In a round or game-winning situation, it's a good option to have, but very expensive. To convert, use the normal path from EX Teleport, starting with the jump 1-2-2. This will net around 28% damage from the forward throw instead of the typical 11 to 14% you'd get with most other cameos. Again, at the cost of 2 bars of meter. Moving on to Cyrax's abilities. Self-Destruct is a 49 frame mid that's massively plus on block and launches on hit. And when I say launches, I mean launches. Both players. The explosion can be delayed by holding the Kameo button, which will continue to drain his Kameo meter until depleted, at which time the explosion will trigger. Forward Kameo will place him in front of you, and down Kameo will place him somewhere else. The positioning of forward Kameo is pretty consistent, but down Kameo depends on the space between you and your opponent. From round start distance, forward is in front of you and down is in front of them. Point blank, forward is on top of them and down is on top of you. At full screen, forward is in front of you and down is in front of them. I couldn't really find a good way to set this up mid-screen, but in the corner you can set this up with the standard ball roll B&B, ending in 2-1 forward Kameo. With a 49 frame startup, use 2-1 since it has around 40 cancel advantage frames, plenty of time to cancel into the explosion setup safely. So what can you expect from this setup, and what are some of the options you can expect from your opponent? If they delay wake up, they'll stand up into the explosion, leaving you around plus 70 if blocked. No need to hold the Kameo input to time this. If they wake up blocking to respect the setup, just throw them into it. Since Cyrax is on the screen, you'll get the forward push. If they wake up trying to jump out of the corner, the Kameo button must be held. Jump back into a jump 2-2, canceled into a down teleport, and release the explosion when Mileena crosses over. Since this combo starts air to air and also has a launch from the explosion, the gravity is kinda finicky. You can convert this combo into the jump 2-2, canceled into air ball roll, into the typical forward 4 for your standard Oki. Or you could do jump 1-2-2 into a conversion that will do a little bit more damage. You can also get around 53% damage by doing a dash into standing 4, canceled into fatal blow after the explosion. If they try to armor out, Liu Kang and Geras can both beat this setup, as their wake-ups both hit Cyrax. Raiden also has an option at the cost of 2 bars with his EX Teleport. Some cameos like Serena and Sub-Zero can also beat this, as they also hit Cyrax. You have options against the rest, but it will require some matchup familiarity. For some, you can simply use the Kameo and the timing falls into place, while others require the Kameo button to be held to delay the explosion. These characters do not require delay. Simply summon the Kameo and be ready to block. After you block the wake up, use a normal with a disjointed hurt box like forward 1, standing 1, or standing 2 to push them into the explosion. We use these buttons to prevent Mileena from also getting hit. If you're up against a Havoc that's wild enough to armored wake up, use 1-2 to break the 3 hits of armor and the explosion will hit just after. Now these characters will require delay. Depending on your button mapping, it can be a little awkward to hold the Kameo button plus block, then release block, while still holding the Kameo, then release the Kameo. Luckily, for these you can use forward 3 to punish for bigger damage. Unfortunately, 4-3-4 will put you in range of the explosion against Lee Mei, Sub-Zero, and Katana, so punish with standing 1-2 instead. And shoutouts to Katana players, she'll also get hit by the explosion even if she hits you first. Tanya is in a league of her own with this kind of pushback. You could do down Kameo instead, but if she doesn't wake up, then the explosion's sitting right on top of you. Finally, some wake-up options side switch. If Ashra ends up on the other side of you, you can back throw or forward 3-4 into ball roll to punish and still get the explosion. Note that the throw has some pretty massive damage and gravity scaling, but if you want to use that option anyway, time the explosion release just after hit 5 of the throw, as they're flipping over. If you release too early, you'll get hit as well. Smoke is a strange one. If you read the wake up, just be ready for an immediate neutral jump anti-air. And for the mirror match, punish with 1-2 into ball roll, jump 1-2-2 to bounce them into the explosion like we did with Ashra and Smoke. Look, everything here can probably be optimized for damage. If you get bigger numbers or have other combo routes, let me know down in the comments. Kopter Chopper is a multi-hitting ambush that will only hit airborne opponents and can be used to get combos from strings that normally can't be extended. For example, forward 144 normally can't be converted, leaving you with the basic 145 damage. Using this Kameo to launch after the final low can more than double this damage. The same applies to forward 2433. Mid-screen, you can tack on about 2% extra damage to EX ball roll at the end of a standard ball roll conversion, or about 6% from a raw EX ball roll. EX ball roll in the corner, however, this one turns into a full combo. Time the Kameo button with the double stab under the chin. As soon as you recover, jump back into jump 2-2, cancel into air ball roll. The jump back 2 is needed early, like immediately, otherwise they'll flip out of the corner. You can also end this combo with Fatal Blow for nearly 53%. If your back is to the corner, you can convert from a back throw for double the damage of a normal back throw. To time this, visually confirm the 5th hit, then press the Kameo button immediately after. Horizontal Kopter Chopper is also a multi-hitting ambush but will hit grounded opponents. Like its vertical counterpart, it can also convert forward 144 and forward 2433, though its primary use is probably block string chip damage. Now, without an ambush assist, it can be really obvious when Mileena's turn is over. Forward 144 blocked, turn over. Forward 4 blocked, turn over. So on and so forth. Having an ambush at your disposal is a good way to keep things changed up. Either by not canceling and potentially stealing a turn, or by continuing a block string that would normally be over if not for the ambush. All of the hits for horizontal Kopter Chopper are high, so they can be ducked. However, you can get them to jail with a well-timed cancel. I'd recommend dialing this in as if it's the last hit of the string, no delay. You'll probably find that you need to input this much faster than you're used to. If you wait to block confirm or input this too slowly, the highs can be ducked. You can practice this timing with the following settings in the opponent type submenu. Change the block mode to stance, and the movement mode to duck. The AI will now always duck and only block ducking. Highs will connect to an opponent that is ducking and blocking, and they'll whiff on an opponent that is ducking and not blocking. For the record, I much prefer the word crouch to duck, but since the game settings call it duck, I'm going to call it duck here for consistency. Now forward 1 is a mid, so it must be blocked even while ducking. Use forward 144 to practice jailing into the horizontal Kopter Chopper for additional chip damage. You can see that if the cancel is too late, the move still comes out, but all of the hits are ducked. If the AI is blocking all the highs, now you're jailing and the hits can't be avoided. If they get hit in the process, it will combo, but with massive damage scaling. Now let's change one more setting. Let's set Ashra to reversal with armor, and this will expose any gaps in our pressure. Do the same sequence as before, then dash up and repeat the forward 144. If you're tight enough, this is still just one complete block string that the opponent is forced to hold. Cyrax hasn't left the screen in time to be called again, but we've done about 90 damage in chip and built the better part of a bar of meter. Cybernet is a 20 damage projectile that's plus on block and puts the opponent in a very long capture state on hit. At 40 startup frames, you won't be comboing into this, and you're not really meant to. This is more of a trade ability. If you're stuck full screen, suppressed by fireballs, try to weave this in for a trade in your favor. It will scale your damage, but for this kind of utility, who could expect anything less? The hit advantage is absolutely insane. From full screen, you can just walk up, not dash, walk up, jump over twice, and still combo. And if you're feeling saucy, you can taunt and still have time to EX teleport. To close this out, Cyrax brings a lot to any character and is honestly probably a little overtuned in his current state. He's not the best Kameo pick if you want things a little more straightforward, but he is a very powerful option if he's more your style. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.